from heaven, Mac.
To be quite honest with you, Sonic Frontiers getting DLC is literally the best thing to happen for a Sonic game in a long time. You see, I feel like for the past several years when it came to Sonic the Hedgehog games, we would never get DLC or any really big updates for them.
Did you forget about me?
They were just kind of released and that was really the end of it. But with Frontiers, you can see that they actually really do care about this game even after its launch, and they want to continue providing more updates and give us more content for it. That said, this DLC is also going to be free. Bro, let's think about this for a second. We're getting 3 updates for this game, and one of them includes playable characters and a new story. To be totally honest with you, this is something I would have actually paid for. My general thoughts on the DLC aside, I wanted to go through and break down each update and pretty much gather what we can expect from each of them. That said, I feel like a lot of them are pretty straightforward in what they're offering, like the jukebox or photo mode, or even just new Koco, for example. But new challenge modes, Sonic's birthday, open zone challenge, and of course the entirety of Update 3 definitely deserve to be talked about here in this video. Firstly, when it comes to new challenge modes, I feel like this is going to be the best part of Update 1. I mean, unless you really like photo mode, but even then, this mode is going to offer a whole bunch of new cyberspace levels. Sonic is probably going to have new bosses in each terrain or each island of the Starfall Islands, and I think we're going to be allowed to fight against the Titans once again, but probably at a higher difficulty. Now, I'm not totally sure if I made myself entirely clear at the beginning of this video, but this is basically all speculation. I'm going off of what I see here in these images, and I think based off of what we can see here, this seems like it's going to be the case. I mean, let's think logically about this for a second. We see Green Hill, Sky Sanctuary, and this city level here, and the only time we see those 3 in the game is when we're actually in cyberspace. So it's suggesting here that we're going to see some new cyberspace levels. And then if you go even further, with Sonic kicking some kind of robot, which I think might be Spider, or maybe even a new boss, you can probably gather that, hey, there's going to be new bosses that you can fight here in the open zone. And then finally with Super Sonic, the only time you can play a Super Sonic is during a Titan boss. So unless Super Sonic's gonna be playable in the open zone territories, then it's going to be new boss battles, or at least reimagined experiences of prior boss battles that we see with the Titans, but maybe at a higher difficulty. As I said earlier, the rest of Update 1 is pretty straightforward. With the jukebox, it's probably just going to be that you can play any song that you want from the Sonic Frontiers soundtrack in any area that you want to. As we see here, Sonic is in Ares Island, and he's listening to some jazzy tunes. Then you go to the photo mode, and you can see Sonic taking a picture of him on probably, I think that's Kronos Island. So yeah, it'll just be Sonic taking pictures, and you can strike poses, which we see here, Sonic is waving it to the camera. Moving on to Update 2 with the Sonic Frontiers DLC, it's firstly going to be Sonic's birthday. With that said, that gives us a pretty great indication of when Update 2 is going to release, and I'm thinking June 23rd, which is Sonic's birthday. Using this information, I was able to theorize how the content would actually be released throughout the entire year. Now, Update 2, if it goes as planned, I think will release in June, which is 6 months through the entire year. So if we're going to be releasing this throughout the entirety of the year, then Update 1 will probably come out sometime in January or maybe February. And then Update 3 will probably finish in December or November. I say this because if they're going to be doing a content roadmap for the entire year of 2023, then they're going to space this out with 6 to 5 month intervals in between them. But anyway, getting back to the Sonic's birthday update, I feel like this could just be limited time events that are actually implemented in the open zone areas, and maybe we'll even see like decorations on all the islands celebrating Sonic's birthday. If it were up to me, I would have it set where you have to do all sorts of different challenges to unlock a cosmetic at the end that we've seen Sonic wear for many of his birthday celebrations. You know, the crown and the cape that we often see him wear in some of the official art promoting Sonic's birthday in the first place. The second part of Update 2 is the Open Zone Challenge. Now, I don't know if this is just one single challenge or multiple challenges, because the title here is singular, not plural. So if we're going off of what we see right in front of us, then we're going to get one challenge in the open zone areas. Now, I think this might be something related to Sonic having to race against time. Now, in the thumbnail here, we see Sonic on the grind rail, and we also see there's a little timer here with 8 minutes and 26 seconds left. And there's also a timer above him with a bunch of numbers like 634 and 320, which I think might be a score rather than a time. Anyway, I think I might have an idea of what this might be. So I think in this mode, you are racing against others online to see who can get the best time in racing across the islands. Now, I think the objective here would be to race from one corner of an island to another side and see who can actually get the fastest time and maybe even the best score. I can even see them showcasing a leaderboard of who has the fastest time of getting from one side of the island to the other. This very concept has been done before in games like Sonic Mania and Sonic Origins, and I feel like it would be actually really cool to see here in Sonic Frontiers. The last part of Update 2 is New Koco, and I think this might just be more of those Koco minigames that we played earlier in the actual storyline, where you had to wrangle them up or collect them from getting destroyed by those towers or whatever else you had to do. I wanted to say there was some kind of new story there too, where you can see the interactions with other Kocos and their previous ancient civilization, but I'm not totally sure if we're going to get that kind of story content here, considering we're getting that in Update 3. So yeah, I'm going to play it safe here and just guess it's going to be more of those Koco minigames. Lastly, with Update 3, and probably the reason why you clicked on this video, is my story synopsis for what a potential Update 3 could have for Sonic Frontiers. As you can see here, we also have new playable characters being Tails, Knuckles, and Amy Rose. This is great because the last time these three characters were playable was like Sonic 06, and I know Tails and Knuckles are playable in like the Mania games or Sonic Origins, but I'm talking about in a full 3D setting. 06 I think was the last time for all three of them, and Amy obviously that was the last time for her in general. Also, quick side note, does anyone else remember that time where in Sonic Colors Ultimate we all thought Tails was going to be a playable character to some degree, but just wasn't? Yeah, great time. But anyway, here's my thoughts on a potential story for Update 3. Now, I think this is going to be taking place during the events of Sonic Frontiers, and likely towards the end after Sonic had been freed from the corruption, and Tails, Knuckles, and Amy had to sacrifice themselves. I say this for two reasons, and both of them focus on the thumbnail art of Update 3. Firstly, we can see Tails, Knuckles, and Amy are back in their intangible state where they really can't do much of anything, but behind them looks to be Oranos Island. This is an island only accessible at the very end of the game, and I feel like with that in mind, this has to take place during that time period. My initial idea with Update 3 was that Sonic was going to be trapped in cyberspace and it would be up to Tails, Knuckles, and Amy to get him out, although I don't know if that's going to be the case considering what we see here with the thumbnail. Perhaps Tails, Knuckles, and Amy will have to work together to escape cyberspace for themselves, and with the help of Sage, they can do this, or perhaps maybe they're fighting against Sage, although at this point in time, Sage would be on the good guy's side, so I'm not really sure what's going on with Sage here in Update 3's thumbnail. Also, Sage herself could be playable. I mean, it's entirely possible that we have 4 new playable characters, as it says here, playable characters, plural, so it could mean more than just 1, 2, or 3. Either way, with this new story, I'm hoping that we get an insane final boss battle, because the one offered in the initial game really didn't do it for me, and I don't think it did it for a lot of people. That said, let me know in the comment section down below what part of the DLC you're looking forward to most of all. Of course, I think a lot of you will say Update 3, but that's totally okay. Either way, thank you all again so much for watching. This is Sonic signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?